really not unclear about, I'm very clear about, that I'm very upset that the Dartmouth dropped the Indian mascot and that they eventually allowed the co-eds. And I'll tell you why. Don't get upset. When I was a kid, I was 8 years old, and my brother was 10, and we had a little girl next door who was 9, and we played Indians all the time. My brother was the chief, I was running bear, and the girl next door was Pocahontas. And my brother and I would establish a camp down by the woods, and he would give the orders because he was chief. Running bear, get the wood for the fire. Running bear, go get water from the stream. And most importantly, running bear, go get Pocahontas and get her to come to camp so we might play medicine man. That never really worked out, because although Pocahontas was only 9, she was nobody's fool. Anyway, when I got older and I was looking for a college to go to, I thought, what about Eleazar Wheelock's place up there in the north? Why? Because Eleazar Wheelock, as you know, was a very pious man who went into the wilderness to teach the Indian. And hey, if that college was good enough to teach Indians, that's where I wanted to go. And you know, he taught males only, and that was all right with me because you didn't want a Pocahontas or a Hiawatha cluttering up the campus. And so anyway, when I got to Dartmouth, it was embedded in an Indian culture. Remember the football games? The head cheerleader would come out with feathers in his hair and a tomahawk in his hand doing backflips and front flips. It was great. And he would lead out the supreme chief of all time, Chief Bob Blackman. That guy could walk on water. I mean, he was more respected than Sitting Bull or Crazy Horse or Crow Chiefs all put together. And he would lead out the Indian warriors, and us Indians in the stand would holler, wah-hoo-wah! Not go green, go. Wah-hoo-wah! We were not there for some friendly athletic encounter. We wanted a massacre. We wanted as many of those Harvard intellectual scalps as we could get. And our boys went out there and they got them. Ken DeHaven and his buddies, they'd spear those cantabs in the ribs with their helmets, and there would be fumbles, and we'd score touchdowns. And when we couldn't score a touchdown, we sent in Geronimo, who kicked the ball through the double totem poles for a 3-point field goal. It was great. And you know, the Indians taught us a lot of good things. Not only how to hunt the wild turkey and the deer, but how to hunt women. We learned how to follow that scent down to Colby Jr. and Green Mountain, and even the nearby Mary Hitchcock settlement. Yeah, later on, when we learned the Indian GPS method of the North Star and the constellations, we found our way down to the Wellesley tribe, and the Skidmore tribe, and the Smith tribe. And when we got there, the same thing would happen. There'd be 3 or 4 house mothers in the parking lot, and they would be screeching lyrics of our song. Dartmouth's in town again, run girls run. And they did run. So we got our fair share. Before the night was over, where there was a lot of hand-holding, rubbing of noses, and things of that nature, always consensual.
Remember. We've heard the beginning and the middle. Do we want to hear the end?
Yes! Anyway, remember our graduation. What was the highlight of our graduation? Smoking the peace pipes up at the Bema, Indian peace pipe. And you know, there was a rumor around that the pre-meds had stopped at medical marijuana. Well, we were years ahead of our time. Anyway, after I graduated a couple of years, a few years I think it was, I came to grips with the fact that many all-male colleges were accepting females, even our beloved Dartmouth. But look what it has come to. You know the name of my family attorney down in Barbara, Vermont, where I live? Maria. You know the name of my family doctor down there? Amanda. Now when I get sick, I got to go to Medicine Woman. I used to always go to Medicine Man. The Medicine Man would give me a few herbs and everything would clear up. No problem, no side effects. Now I go to Medicine Woman Amanda, she sends me right to Rite Aid. 6 sophisticated drugs. They give me a 4-foot-long receipt, a 27-page booklet about each drug. I didn't ever get past page 3 because on page 3, the 5th possible side effect is death. Well, I'm going back to Medicine Man. Anyway, I'll cut this short, I know. Somebody mentioned the political situation. I'm very concerned about that. I got an Uncle Pete who was 50% Cherokee and Dartmouth grad, and I go to him for advice. And I said, what do you think about this presidential race? Put his arm around me, he says, running bear. He says, how are we going to fix the problems in this country if we got a squaw as the chief? I said, I know. He says, well, she can be trusted with basic smoke signals. I mean, if she starts a fire, a personal fire behind the White House and sends up a few puffs, he said, they'll get hacked. The next thing you know, we got terrorists all over the place. I said, yeah, but what about this guy, Trump? And he says, let me quote you a Sioux saying. He says, an old Sioux saying, it is better to have less thunder in the mouth than more lightning in the hand. I said, that's the truth. But I said, what about the wall builder's sexy hairdo? And he said, another Indian quote. Most of us do not look as handsome to others as we do to ourselves. And anyway, I know you're going to kick me out. George.
I dressed the way I dressed today because I knew this moment was going to come.
I just have one last thing. There's been a lot of changes, but you have to remember, when you think about all these changes that have been made, you got to remember the quote of the old Indian chief. Do not judge your college president until you walk 2 moons in his moccasins.
I'm not a big